Hello friends and welcome into the Cowboys Report, and good morning. It's still dark here in Texas, and the Cowboys and Zeke finally have that long-awaited contract extension. Now, we don't have the full super in-depth year-by-year details, and I'll explain why that really matters for this one in a little bit, but we do have the main money. It is a 6-year, $90 million deal for Zeke and the Dallas Cowboys, with what is being reported as $50 million guaranteed. Now, we'll see if that guarantee is like, oh, there's injury guarantee in year 8, which, okay, sure, that's a possibility, but it's being reported right now, and the first part I know is accurate. 6 years, $90 million. We'll see about the guarantee, and remember, because Zeke is still under contract for 2 more years, this is really an 8-year, $100+ million deal for the Dallas Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott. Now, I do want to hammer this point home early on, and we will come back to it. The guaranteed money, and namely the structure of the money and when the guaranteed money kicks in, is what really matters with this deal. There's probably going to be some what we call funny money at the back of the deal where he's probably not going to see it because it's an 8-year contract. That's just how it typically works out. And you can only promise the guaranteed money, be it via a signing bonus or an option bonus, over the first 5 years. So in theory, you could have the last 3 years of that be backloaded and have no guaranteed money. But, and this is why I think this deal took a little bit longer than maybe some anticipated, and we mentioned it on yesterday's show, one of the many shows we've done. I don't even know what day it is anymore. But the 30% rule when it comes to this upcoming year and the final year of the CBA, and the final league year, aka 2020, you cannot have more than a 30% increase in salary, and that's increase in subsequent years. So what that means is you can't have the deal be, oh, it's $12 million, $12 million, $12 million, $35 million at the end. Look, you got to $15 million per year. That's not how it's able to work, and Zeke won a lot of money up front. Therefore, the structure of this deal, I think, was actually fairly complicated. So we do not have the full-on details. I'm sure we will get that at some point over the next couple of days, or couple of hours here. Once we do, I'll have it on Twitter for you. I will Welcome Downey once I wake up from my nap, because it's, I've been up since 6 a.m. at this point. I'm barely a functioning adult, so why would I be up at that point anyway? So Zeke does become the highest paid NFL running back at $15 million, a little bit more than Todd Gurley. That is at least the initial reported APY. We saw with Todd Gurley's deal too. His initial report was not 14.4 per year. It was more of 15 per year, and then people realized, oh, well, there were some incentives in there that were not likely to be earned, and he didn't earn them right away, and now his per year actually drops a little bit back down. So just keep that in mind. The initial report, as I mentioned, was going to be that 8-year, $103 million total. $100 million man, Zeke's can't win. Let's see how the contract is actually structured, especially for those of you worried about paying Dak and Amari. Either way, you can still do that. But now the pie has shrunk once again for the Dallas Cowboys. So give me your one-word reaction to Zeke's extension. Let me know in the comment section. I see finally. That's kind of where I'm at. I meant to bring a cigar in here, and then I realized I couldn't smoke in the office, just to be done with it. Finally is a good one there. I see a lot of finally in there. Bless up, wow, okay. Super Bowl's 2 words, but it's a good word, so I'm cheating with it. Boom, great. Dylan says F yes. We know what the F word is there. Yay, yes, yes, finally, great, yes. Multiple Super Bowls, but that's fine. Some more comments coming in here from Seth. He says, do you sleep, Tom? Technically, yes. I'm pretty sure I woke producer Brett up this morning when I called. I did. I woke producer Brett up calling. Kept the phone on. There you go. That's how I knew. All right, again, if you're just now tuning in here live on YouTube and on Facebook, it's over. No more constant non-update updates. A 6-year, $90 million deal with $50 million guaranteed. We'll see what the true structure actually looks like, I'm sure, later on today. And this extension does make Zeke the highest paid back in the NFL. Now, Steven had originally said, well, we're not going to set the market for running backs. And then he did later clarify that by setting the market, he didn't mean paying the most, he meant by making a 15% raise. So you can do the math there on 15 times 15% as to what Zeke was allegedly asking for. In the end, I think this is exactly what Zeke wanted. He gets to be back with the team in time for week 1. He will, at least he's expected to play against the New York Giants. I don't know if it's going to be a full-on 35 carry game. It might be more of a 20-25 carry game, kind of slowly amp him up. But if it's a close game in the fourth quarter, guess who's going to be out there? It's going to be Zeke, right? And again, you lock up your superstar back. Perhaps, I think he is the best back in the NFL. His numbers have been incredible. 2017, under 1,000 yards. Yeah, he missed 6 games. He's still been absolutely incredible. Now, a very common question from Alejandro Hernandez: does it leave any room to sign other players? I do want to see what the structure looks like in terms of what is the cap hit this year? What is the cap hit next year? But unless they got weird with it and gave him $20 million this year, which I don't think we're going to see happen, yes, there is still plenty of money left. You are still sitting with upwards of $70 million in cap space before the Zeke deal. Even if you want to go with this, the APY, that's 15, you still got $55 million. Let's say Cooper costs $19 million, a little bit under 20. You still have plenty of money. And the reality is, that's not how contracts are actually structured, right? Like, you don't get instant $15 million per year cap hit. You can still afford Amari Cooper. You can still afford Dak Prescott. After those two, it does get a little bit tighter for the Dallas Cowboys. But yes, you can still afford Amari. You can still afford Dak Prescott. Affording Byron Jones, well, it's going to be a little bit tougher because you signed La'el Collins. Now, my earlier projected contract details, not that far off, actually. The per years, or the years in total were a little bit low, 4 years 60 versus 6 years 90, but the average per year was right, and the guaranteed was almost correct. I honestly didn't think they were going to do a 6-year deal. That actually does surprise me. My anticipation here is that you're going to see some back-end money that's higher that the Cowboys don't think Zeke's even going to see. Just kind of keep that in mind. And here's my question for you guys. Who signs next? We already had Jaylon and La'el Collins and now Zeke Elliott. So who's fourth? Is it Dak Prescott? Is it Amari Cooper? Is it a surprise somebody else? Let me know in the comment section. I do leave for a wedding Thursday night, late Thursday night. So you're probably going to see Dak sign Friday. That would be my guess, at least, because that's just what happens here. It's annoying. But from a timing perspective, I think Dak makes more sense. Amari's going to make $14+ million this year. That's fine. He doesn't need the money, and there's not as much risk on his end. For Dak, where things get a little bit dicey is he's only making $2 million. Is he going to pass on $90 million guaranteed to play for $2 million? He could try and pull a Kirk Cousins and just maximize his earnings, or when we get to Friday or Saturday or whatever, you're going to say, you know what, I'm just going to take the best deal in front of me. And at that point, he's still very much set for life. I see mostly Dax in there. That makes less sense. I did see one Malik Collins. I think he had to take a lot less money, but with Tristan Hill, the second-round pick there, kind of think Collins is in his last year with the Dallas Cowboys. So this is the new Cowboys running back depth chart, and I'll make time to note this here right now. The Cowboys have to make a roster move. They have too many guys on the 53-man roster. They now have 54. Maybe it's Jordan Chun, who they like on special teams. Maybe it's Alfred Morris, who doesn't bring you special teams value, but is getting close to being a vested veteran, blah, 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 week 1. Maybe they go with 4 backs, at least for now, and release someone like a Brandon Knight, the 10th offensive lineman, and they just go with 9, and they get Knight on the practice squad or something. So I am curious what the roster move is. The Cowboys probably could apply for a brief exemption if they wanted to. I don't think that's the route they're going to choose to go because they want Zeke out there for week 1. Even if it's only a 20-25 snap game, they want Zeke. again, they just paid him 6 years, $90 million with $50 in guaranteed. I do want to see how it is structured. That's super important here. But in terms of per year and guaranteed, assuming the guaranteed is not a fake guarantee for injuries later on, as always is reported, this does make Zeke the highest paid back in the NFL. Now, part of the guarantee is going to be the upwards of 13, I think, in total he had coming up for this season. That's part of your guarantee. There's going to be a signing bonus. They'll probably guarantee his 2020 base salary. There's probably an option bonus thrown in there somewhere as well to kind of help space it out overall. So once we get the final details, I'll put it on the channel, put it on my Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. But for now, we just don't have that. All right, guys, your friends are probably not all up. It's like 7 in the morning, at least here in Dallas. It's 8 a.m. out on the East Coast. If you got friends in San Francisco or Oakland or out on the West Coast, they are not awake. So click share to let your friends know the news. This way, when they wake up, they check their phone, they go, oh, look what so-and-so told me. You can be the newsbreaker now. So click share, let your friends know the latest on Zeke. Namely, at long last, the contract is done. It is over. There is no more holdout. $15 million per year. Zeke is back with the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to play, at least he's going to play in week 1. It's a 6-year, $90 million deal. It's an absolutely massive contract extension. And let me take a sip of my Red Bull because I need it this morning. Oh, you're fine, Brett. It makes it real. Now, use hashtag Cowboys. That'll help producer Brett find some of the Q&A stuff here for you. But again, if you're just now tuning in, we know not everyone's up. It's like 7 a.m. It's still dark out here. That's weird. It kind of is, though. Like, it's dark. Anyway, praise be, the deal is done. It's done. Guaranteed money and the structure. Remember, this is what matters. As of right now, we do not know what the true structure is. Namely, when can the Cowboys get out of this deal? If they have to. They like flexibility. They didn't like the Todd Gurley structure. The initial wave of reporting would seem to indicate that, well, the Zeke side won this deal. Let's see. I am glad the deal is done. I am glad it's over. We don't have to worry about it anymore. I do want to see what this structure actually looks like. Is this a deal? Obviously, you're already going to pay Zeke for the next 2 years. That's not a surprise. Is it a 2-year and, well, we got 2 years on top of it? Is it a 2-1? I don't think it's going to be a 2-1 with that money. Is it a 2-2? That's doable. Is it a 2-3? Then you can start to get out of it? That means Zeke would have won. So I am very curious. I know it's an 8-year deal in total. The back end is going to have some funny money on it. Money that Zeke's probably not going to see. But with that 30% rule for the CBA, which basically prevents you from just backloading the deal, because you have to have 30% increase at most across after the final league year, which is in 2020 of the current CBA, I'm very curious how that all fits together. All right, question time. DKDC92. Now that Zeke is done, what do you expect for Dak? Well, I was big mad last night because Jared Goff signed for about $33.5 million and $110. Was that the guaranteed? Something insanely high. Look, you guys know me. I get upset when the Cowboys front office does not push to get deals done. I can't blame them for the Dak stuff, though. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I think more so this was Dak's team going, no, we want to be the last quarterback to sign. Jared Goff got more than Carson Wentz. Prepare yourselves for Dak Prescott to make more than Jared Goff. That's just how contract works in the NFL. At that point, maybe it's $34 million per year. Sorry. Vincent, how does next year's CBA affect all this? Great question, Vincent. I mentioned earlier that 30% rule. That is one of the biggest parts of this. With the way the 30% rule works is that in the final league year, which is going to be 2020, you cannot have an increase of beyond 30% and into subsequent years. You can't. What you can't do is you can't have, okay, Zeke makes 12 and then 13 and then 14 and then 15 and then 30 in the last year that he's never going to get, and that's how we let the agent get to 15 APY. You can't do that. You cannot randomly backload the contract. You have to make it a steady increase. That's a little bit tricky to do. I think that's why you saw this deal take a little bit longer to actually get done. So keep that structure in mind. The Cowboys, here's how they've gotten away with that so far with the Jaylon Smith and Leo Collins deals, is they've added an option bonus after the first year that acts as a second signing bonus, and that helps space the money out long term. I would bet you see something similar with this Zeke contract. All right, Gabriel Peterson. What can we expect from Cabo, or from post-Cabo Zeke? Well, the last time we saw Zeke come back from Cabo, the dude was shredded. Absolutely shredded. Meanwhile, John here, actually, I actually want that question from John. Anyway, use hashtag Cowboys. Producer Brett's still waking up there, I guess. It's okay. Use hashtag Cowboys. I think Zeke will be in shape, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to be full-on football shape. I think you'll see more of a ramp up there. John. Oh, God. Of course, Brett. Scarborough at fullback. He's big. I don't think they gave him a fair chance. I think he would do wonders. Well, I would do wonders. Thank you. Here's the thing about Bo Scarborough. Guys, he's just not that good. Like, the Seahawks cut him. The Jags didn't put him on their active roster. 3 teams that said, nah, he's not good enough. Sorry. All right, Jose Cap, will we see any trades during the season? If you see one, I would say after week 2 is the timing here. Because you got to free up a roster spot for Robert Quinn after week 2. You're already 10 deep on the defensive line. None of those guys get into the practice squad. So maybe you trade somebody. All right, King Reddick, who gets the franchise tag? Great question. Now, someone earlier asked about the CBA and all of that. This is also a weird quirk this year in the CBA. Because the way it is set up, if there is no new deal, you can actually use 2 of the franchise tags. The normal franchise tag and then the transition tag too. So if Dak and Amari both are unsigned, well, you can use it on them. If they're both signed, maybe use it on Byron Jones. Those are the only 3 that I think make sense. Right now, I think Amari is the most likely because I think he's the most willing to wait on his deal. Mike Stevenson, who do you think is in the last year of their contract and won't be re-signed? Guys like Malik Collins, Randall Cobb are out there. I don't know if Jeff Heath comes back. I think this is about the end for Sean Lee, frankly. So those types of players. Ooh, Anthony Brown, I don't think he comes back either. And frankly, I'm not feeling too great about Byron Jones either. All right, guys, again, the breaking news here. The Cowboys have agreed to an extension with Zeke. 6 years, $90 million. And with the 2 years he has left on his deal at about $13 million, Zeke's now a $100 million man. And that is how the agent will spin it as the agent one. And I'm very curious how the actual structure works out. So with that in mind, grade the Zeke extension. A, B, C, D, or F. I am going to type in F for finally because it's finally done. Not as the, oh my God, it's an F grade, but finally done. So FD altogether. It's probably in a B range for me right now. I'm glad it's over. I do really want to see what the structure is. I would bet this deal is not going to be as potentially sunken shippy as the Todd Gurley deal is. I made that up. That's not a word, but you know it's early, so I can make up my excuses there. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section. All right, John Jackson. I finally get to see a live broadcast. I'm in the Philippines, and the time difference is rough on me. John, thank you for watching. Glad you're able to enjoy it this time. Jonathan McCall's out in Australia. It's 10 p.m. here. Thank you for putting in what time because I would have had no idea. I appreciate that, Jonathan. Thank you for stopping in. Simon, yeah. All right, John Sampe. Shout out to the Cowboys from Indonesia. Yeah. Thank you again. I appreciate everyone watching from overseas today. That's awesome, guys. I really do appreciate it. All right, Jonathan Guadalupe. Now that the Zeke drama is done, what concerns you the most? Amari Cooper's health or paying Dak after Goff's deal. Funny autocorrect there, by the way. I say I'm more concerned about the short term, Amari Cooper's deal, or his health, excuse me. Like, Dak's going to get paid at some point. As long as that gets done before Patrick Mahomes, at this point, it's not going to drastically change anymore. So I'm going to go with Cooper's health on that front. All right, Wraith K. Will Zeke have enough time to get ready for the Giants? Yes, he'll be in practice today, Wednesday. He'll go through meetings, all that type of stuff there. I just don't know if you're going to see 35 carry Zeke. I think you might see more of 25 max game from Zeke. Hopefully it's a blowout and they don't even need Zeke. DZ Ray Cowboys. I hope there is something in the deal about his off-the-field issues. Probably is. Frankly, I feel like this is not well known. Most contracts actually have a, if you get suspended, we void your guarantees clause. So I expect you'll see that exact same thing with Zeke Elliott. Again, we'll see the future full-on details there. In terms of what the guarantee money is, what the structure is, what the verbiage is in terms of if Zeke gets suspended again. But normally, a suspension, it just voids the guarantees. So, just make note of that there for the Cowboys and for Zeke Elliott. 6 years, $90 million deal with $50 million guaranteed. Some more live Q&A here. This one from Jay Weber. Dak deserves whatever he signs for. He's a winner, and when we win the Super Bowl with him, those Dak haters keep that same energy. I hope so. That'd be great, right? I think that's the end goal there in the end for the Cowboys and for Dak Prescott. And if they win the Super Bowl at that point, give him whatever he wants. All right, Matthias is watching from Switzerland. I like that. Thank you, Matthias. There, country music in the Dallas Cowboys. Great way to wake up. I agree. This is nice to have a little early morning deal done, finally over. Now I can sleep because I have not been sleeping all that well, quite frankly, because it's been busy and it's not the best thing out there. All right, guys, the Cowboys play the Giants in Week 1, so get rid of commercials during the game. No more of those bad car commercials that I swear they do bad on purpose. Instead, download the MyTV Choice app, chatsports.com/MyTV. Instead of crappy commercials, you'll get news and sports videos from us here at Chat Sports. Yeah, go download today at chatsports.com/MyTV Choice. Get rid of commercials once and for all. Once again, if you're just now tuning in, the Cowboys breaking news here early on a Wednesday morning. The Cowboys and Zeke Elliott have agreed to an extension, a 6-year, $90 million deal with what is being reported as $50 million guaranteed. I will make note, the structure is really what matters here, because typically the initial wave of reporting is some favorable in terms of what counts as guaranteed money. And there will be a lot of money on the back end of this deal that, frankly, Zeke's probably not going to see. So just kind of keep that in mind there for the Cowboys and for Zeke Elliott in terms of how this deal is truly structured. Now, this does make Zeke a $100 million man because it's really with the 2 years he has left on his deal, an 8-year, $103 million contract. It does make Zeke the highest paid back in the NFL. So frankly, Zeke's camp and Rocky Arsenault, big-time winners here. So what is your one-word reaction to this Zeke extension? Let me know in the comments section. Your one-word reaction to Zeke getting this massive long-term deal that finally ends this incredibly frustrating holdout. Someone just says Zeke with like 3 E's, a lot. Finally, that's kind of my reaction here as well. Yes, finally. Someone says sleep, that will be me later on today. Great, finally, great. Very common theme there. Some people say they don't like it. Super Martin says dumb. Someone says eat, as in feed. No one said feed, which is weird. Someone sort of said feed there. Relief, that's a good one there. TKG. I think those all make sense. It's nice to have it finally over. All right, Yvonne, you think the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl? I mean, they certainly have a chance, and that's the expectation, right? If the Cowboys don't, it's going to be a big disappointment, I think. All right, Anthony Meatball, if Byron Jones is less likely to get a piece of that pie, should we trade him, and what can we realistically get for him? Like, if you don't get a first-round pick, what's the point? And coming off the injury and that he wants to get probably $15 million, I don't think you get a first-round pick for Byron Jones. It's tough to make trades at this point in the season. I think it is more valuable to have a year of Byron Jones, still possibly re-sign him. You're not guaranteeing he's not going to re-sign, and try and win the damn thing. I know that if someone's not going to re-sign, we want to trade him instantly. Keep him. Try and win with him this year. You'll get a third-round comp pick. That's, I think, a year of Byron is worth the value of a first-round pick, but also not having him for an entire season. All right, Chef Boy Jr., is it the head coach, Jason, or a quarterback, Dak, that is holding us back from a Super Bowl this year? I mean, I kind of want to see how the season goes, but, you know, you had Tony with Jason Garrett, didn't work. You had Dak with Jason Garrett, didn't work. Both share some level of blame, but if the season doesn't work this year, it's probably going to be on the head coach's, responsibility. All right, Jesse, do you think we are Super Bowl ready? I do. I think the goal should be to make it there. Look, getting into the playoffs, of course, is goal one, and then it's all kind of screwy, and there's a lot of luck involved, ask the Saints and the Rams, by the way. But yeah, I do think that this team is as close as they're going to be, Like, they're not like the Patriots where they're always Super Bowl, prepared, but this is a good enough team to make a push to win the Super Bowl. That should be the expectation, and if they don't reach it or come up way short, Garrett's gone. Wolf Hunter 421, should I still start Pollard in my fantasy league this week? Probably not, mostly because with where you took Pollard, you're going to have safer and better options. John, last minute play for the win. Who to trust, Amari or Zeke? Well, if you got a minute, you probably got to throw the football. And at that point, the answer is probably Amari Cooper, which is why Amari's going to make more than Zeke on his deal whenever that does get done. John, with all the talent we have on this team, maybe we can be the first team to win 3 in a row. Let's just get 1. Give me the 1, and then we'll worry about all that stuff. For sure gaming, should I bet on the Cowboys -7 versus the Giants? I certainly think so. I already did bet on the Cowboys -7 versus the Giants. I did it on BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code Cowboys120 for a 120% deposit bonus. You put down $50, I'm going to give you $64 free. Heck, I'll throw in another big bet for you. Texas LSU. Texas, a 6-point underdog when I checked last night against LSU at home. Tom Herman always covers the spread as an underdog. Almost always. He's got a ridiculous track record. Go bet on Texas to at least cover. Make some extra money there. All right, closeout Tracer. Jones loves big deals. They are his flash. How we ended up overpaying B-plus players. Jerry Jones is not in charge, guys. This is not a Jerry Jones deal. This is a Stephen Jones deal. He means Jerry. Everyone means Jerry. Stephen's in charge right now. All right, Jonathan Guadalupe. But he's not. So, that wasn't even worth meriting, Brett. So is Morris cut? I don't know. There's definitely a chance of that. We will see. I don't know who the Cowboys are going to cut here. TKG, what one word do you have to this all being over, Tom? How ready do you think Zeke will be on Sunday? It's finally for me. It's finally. I wanted this to be done. It had gotten really annoying and frustrating. I am very glad it is now over. All right, guys. Also, click share. Your friends are not all awake. It's still early. Click share to let your friends know the breaking news. Zeke back to the Cowboys on a 6-year, $90 million deal.